You want to sing that?
We all sing together usually.
Go ahead.
जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय नित्यानंद नित्यानंद राम याहार कृपाते पाइनु वृंदावन धाम जय जय नित्यानंद जय कृपामय यहाँ है ते पाइनु रूप सनातन श्राय जय जय नित्यानंद चरण रविंद यहाँ है ते पाइनु श्री राधा गोविंद जय 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 श्री अद्वैत आचार्य जय जय श्री चैतन्य नित्यानंद आर्य जय जय महाप्रभु श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य ताहारा चरण श्रिता से बड़ा धन्य जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य गौरा चंद्र जय जय परमानंद जय नित्यानंद जय जय द्वैत आचार्य कृपा मोया जय जय गदाधर पंडित महाशय जय जय श्रीवासादि अता भक्तगण प्रणत हैया वंदन सबार चरण जय श्री माधवपुरी कृष्ण प्रेम पूरा भक्ति कल्प तरुरतेनो प्रथम अंकुर जय जय श्री कृष्ण जय धन्य जय जय गदाधर जय श्रीनिवास जय मुकुंद वासुदेव जय हरिदास जय दामोदर स्वरूप जय मुरारी गुप्ता ए सब चंद्रोदय तम कैल लुप्त जय श्री चैतन्य चंद्रेर भक्त चंद्र गण सबार प्रेम ज्योत्स्नया उज्ज्वल त्रिभुवन जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य दयामय पतित पावन जय जय महाशय जय जय महाप्रभु व्रजेंद्र कुमार जगत तारिते प्रभु तोमार अवतार जय जय गौराचंद्र जय कृपा सिंधु जय जय शचि सुत जय दीन बंधु जय जय शचि सुत श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य जय जय कृपामय नित्यानंद धन्य जय श्रीनिवासेश्वर हरिदास नाथ जय गदाधर प्रिय स्वरूप प्राणनाथ जय काशी प्रिय जगदानंद प्राणेश्वर रघुनाथेश्वर जय रूप सनातन जीव रघुनाथ रघुनाथ गोपाल जय मोरनाथ जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय दयामय जय जय नित्यानंद कृपा सिंधु जय जय स्वरूप श्रीवासादि शक्ति देह कोरियेन चैतन्य वर्णान जय जय गौराचंद्र जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा जय गंधर्विका गिरिधारी गौर हरि जय गंधर्विका गिरिधारी गौर हरि जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. जय श्री श्री गांधर्विका गिरिधारी श्रीमन महाप्रभु की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. Yeah. Yeah. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. This is Hema Sundari's home. Very good. Well, let me see. Another one. So you are all very fortunate souls. I think this thing is quite stable. Reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Actually, this is too heavy and it brings the thing down like this. So today we are reading from Madhya Lila chapter 10, the Lord's return to Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's return to Jagannath Puri. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. We offer our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, who very mercifully translated this Chaitanya Charitamrita that, as you know, was lost after some time after its compilation and was finally found back by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I'm fine with this one. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavare Paschatya Deshatarine. So let us read in this chapter 10 here. The summary describes that in this chapter, devotees from many different areas come to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they are exactly like many rivers that come from many places to finally flow into the sea. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been touring South India, and he is now returned to Jagannath Puri. So let us read the verses. Tammande Gaura Jaladam Swasya Darshana Amritahe Vichedava Grahamlana Bhakta Sasyanya Jivayat. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is compared to a cloud that pours water on fields of grain, which are like devotees suffering due to a shortage of rain. Separations from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like a drought, but when the Lord returns, his presence is like a nectarian rain that falls on all the grains and saves them from perishing. So here Krishnadas Kaviraj is offering his obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu using the poetical expression through an analogy. What is the analogy? Anybody heard? Grain? Grain, drought. Sir, on nectar of Mahaprabhu, on the grains. So, what are the grains? The devotees of the Lord. Yes, the devotees of the Lord. And the rain is what? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes. And what is the drought? He was not there. His absence. His absence is experienced by the devotees as a kind of a drying up experience. They're drying up in separation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just like the grains dry up and ultimately die when the rain fails to arrive. So this is very beautiful. So we offer our obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, praying that he may appear in our life. There is a beautiful verse that has been compiled by, who is that? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, I believe, in the Madhurya Kadambini. It's the first verse, it's a Mangalacharan. And it is also a lamentation like this, a lamentation in separation, a lamentation feeling bereft of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This beautiful verse goes like this. Hridva prenava bhakti shasya vitate sanjivani swagama rambhe kam tapartu dahadamani vishvapagulasini Durande marusakhinopi sarasi bhavaya bhuyat prabhu Shri Chaitanya kripa nirankusha maha madhurya kadambini. Very beautiful verse. It talks of Madhurya Kadambini, which is a bank of clouds That bank of cloud is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the rain that comes down from these clouds is his mercy. But in this verse, the author says that I am very unfortunate. I am like a dried up tree in the desert. Drought situation, a dried up tree in the desert. The rain of Mahaprabhu's mercy has not come this way. I see in the distance there is a bank of clouds, and over there it is raining. Wherever Mahaprabhu bestows his mercy, there it is raining. And the grains, what are the grains here? The grains of Navavidha Bhakti, the seeds of Navavidha Bhakti in the heart of those who receive his mercy, they sprout. But I am so unfortunate that this mercy of Mahaprabhu has not come my way. So there is no advancement in Krishna consciousness. So here we see the lamentation of the devotees expressing how they have been suffering in separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from the time. How long was he traveling in South India? Anybody knows? He was traveling and traveling and traveling. Next it says, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Purveyabe Mahaprabhu Chalita Dakshine Prataparudra Rajatabe Boileva Sarvabhaume. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu departed for South India, King Prataparudra called Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya to his place. Vasite asanadila kari namaskare Mahaprabhu Vartatabe Puchilata Hare. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya met with the king offered him a seat with all respects and inquired about news of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shunilanya tumara garhe eka mahasaya goda haite aila tenho mahakrupa maya. The king said to the Bhattacharya, I have heard that a great personality has come from Bengal and is staying at your home. I have also heard that he is very, very merciful. Tomare bahu kripa kaila kahe sarvajana kripa kare kaha more tahara darshana. I have also heard that this great personality has shown you great favor. At any rate, this is what I hear from many different people. Now, being merciful upon me, you should do me the favor of arranging an interview. So Mahaprabhu was staying at the house of whom? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Yes. So as we know, King Prataparudra was a great devotee. And he was very, very, very eager to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the way to meet the Lord is not to appeal to him personally, but it is to go through his intimate associates. So here the king was appealing to Bhattacharya, Sarvabhauma, and that please arrange for my meeting with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now the answer came. भट्ट है यीशु नीला सब सच है तारा दर्शन तुम्हारा घटना ना है. The Bhattacharya replied, all that you have heard is true. But as far as an interview is concerned, it is very difficult to arrange. विरक्त सन्नासिते हो रहे ना निर्जने स्वप्ने ना करे नते हो राज दर्शने. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the renounced order and is very much detached from worldly affairs. He stays in solitary places and even in dreams he does not grant interview to a king. Why is that? The king is a person who deals, first of all, who lives in opulence. A king, we say kingly life. Yeah? Live life like a king. There is a bad, what do you say, advertising in the Western world. Live life king size. Better you don't know what it means. It's an advertising for a cigarette company. What's the cigarette? Anyway, it's so like that. So they consider that their cigarettes is like very high quality. So live life king size. So this is the idea that there is life king size, which means lots of opulence. The kings, especially in the past, now we don't even know what a king is. But the kings, they would live in palaces. They would collect the taxes and they would wear very opulent clothing. They would wear ornaments. They would eat the most opulent food. They would be surrounded by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of servants. They would marry many wives and they would have many children. They would have many animals, horses, elephants, and they would deal with all sorts of mundane subjects, mundane affairs. They would go to war also. And as we hear from the scriptures that vegetarianism, not eating meat, that was followed mostly by the Brahmanas. The Kshatriyas did not follow that. So they would eat meat also. Now, in contrast to this, the sannyasis lived a completely austere, renounced life. And the first instruction for a Vaishnava, what to speak of a renounced Vaishnava, is asatsanga tyaga a Vaishnavachar. How should one behave? The best behavior for a Vaishnava is to give up the association of mundane people. Those who are attached to loving affairs, those who are attached to opulence, we should avoid them. They should be avoided because they carry all these sanskaras with them. And one time Srila Prabhupada was in Calcutta in the temple, and he was coming down maybe for morning walk or something. He was exiting the temple. If you know the Calcutta temple, it's on the first floor. You go down the steps and you come out. So he was, And so he was coming out and he saw one devotee. I'm not sure whether it was Shyam Sundar. It was somebody, one of his devotees was there, and he was reading a magazine. Times magazine or something like that. He was looking at he was flipping through a magazine, and Srila Prabhupada stopped and he told him that this magazine is full of worldly news about worldly people. And there are many pictures also. He said, just by seeing their face in the magazine as a picture, just by looking at their picture, your mind will become contaminated. You don't even have to meet the person. Just by seeing the face of a materialist, of somebody who is disrespectful of the Supreme Lord, somebody who is fully engaged in the gratification of the senses, who is engaged in sinful life, just by seeing a picture of them, our mind becomes contaminated. So what to speak of meeting them? Of course, not all the kings are mundane. The kings actually originally are meant to be Raja Rishi. They are meant to be wise, very wise. And they are meant to be Pratinidhi, the representative of the Lord. They are meant to govern their kingdom on behalf of the Supreme Lord, understanding the words of the Vedas, Ishavasyamidam Sarvam. Whatever is in this world, material universe, it is all pervaded by the Lord. And because He pervades it and created it and it emanates from Him, therefore it is His. The Lord is the owner. And the king is only a manager. He is ruling on behalf of the Lord. So Prataparudra, he was one of those kings who understood that truth, who was a follower of the truth presented in the Vedas. So he was not a mundane person. Yet, etiquette sometimes demands that we behave in a certain way. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhattacharya, he warned him that because you are in the dress of a king, as a sannyasi, he may not be able to see you. As an etiquette. As you know, they will meet later on. And the devotees actually, because they knew Prataparudra as a devotee, they plotted. They plotted in Mahaprabhu's back how we can get Prataparudra to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And their meeting will take place during the Ratha Yatra festival. So here the king, the first response to his inquiry and request was kind of negative. That there is an obstacle, and the obstacle is that your material position is that of a king. So all these things, Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, these are all material positions. So somehow, this was the first wave of answer. Then he says, Tathapi prakare toma kareta madarasana samprati karilate ho dakshina gamana. Still, I would have tried to arrange your interview, but he has recently left to tour South India. So when was this conversation taking place? During Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's absence. Raja kahe Jagannath chadi kene gela, Bhatta kahe mahantela e kalila. The king asked, why has he left Jagannath Puri? The Bhattacharya replied, such are the pastimes of a great personality, meaning that you can never know what is their next movement. Huh? The great personalities, they move on their own accord. He was requested by his mother to take residence in Jagannath Puri so that he would be nearby to Mayapur and she could get news and the devotees could visit. But he didn't stay there. Suddenly he decamped and he went on foot through the forests and jungles and of South India, Central India, Eastern India. Then he went to Vrindavan, so many places. Tirtha pavitra karite kare tirtha brahmana sai chale nistaraye sansarika jana. So now he's explaining why the great saints, they actually travel. Great saints go to holy places of pilgrimage in order to purify them. For that reason, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is visiting many tirthas and delivering many, many conditioned souls. So why do the great people, great sages, why do they go to holy places? To purify them. What did be pure? And it is known that by visiting the holy places, one becomes purified, one gets rid of one's sins. So the sinners, by millions, go to the Ganga, Jamuna, Narmada, Kaveri, and all the different holy places. And they go there and floop, they take a holy dip in the river. And as they take a holy dip in the river, all their sins, they download their sins in the river. So then what happens? The river becomes polluted. Then how will the next ones be purified? Suppose 100 sinners have taken bath before me. So what will happen to me now? So Prabhupada explains that not only the sinners visit the holy places, but also the saints. And when the saints visit the holy places and take bath in the holy rivers, they purify the place of all sins. And this is also explained in the Ishopanishad, one of my favorite scriptures. There it says that the Lord is such, the Lord is, Prabhupada says, he is pure. He is Shuddham, Apapavidham. The Lord is pure and never contaminated. He's just like the sun. The sun is situated in a different dimension, far, far away from the earth. And it shines its rays everywhere, including over the stool field, Prabhupada says. This is something which happens in Gaon, maybe not here. Many, many years when I came to India in 1981, and then all the 80s in 1981, then all the 80s when I was on Padayatra. So this was very regular. When you go everywhere, there are places called Tati Field, Tati Kund, you know. So the people in the morning, they don't maintain toilets. They just have selected areas where all the people go in the morning and they pass through there. So you will say, oh my God. Well, it is being purified in different ways. First way is by the pigs who wander through the tati fields and for whom Prabhupada said stool tastes like halawa. And then there are the rays of the sun. The sun completely desiccates the stool. And so what the farmers do is they use that stool as a fertilizer and they rotate the fields for 1 month or 1 week. I don't know, they poo in that field and in another field and they go all around like this. And and it is forbidden to poo in the cultivated fields, okay? That you have to learn, otherwise you get danda. You better know. Wherever they have put the seeds and the crops are about to come, you cannot put there because you will contaminate the crops. So, but how come then but they are putting the seed in those fields where the stool has been. So how come? Because it has become purified. It has become purified by the powerful rays of the sun, which completely dried up and turned the thing into dust practically over time. So the question is, does the sun become contaminated by touching the stool? Because the rays of the sun are touching the stool, no? So if you can see, you see a ray of sun is passing over the stool, then it comes to illuminate your body. You go like, no, 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 no. But it is not like this. Because Prabhupada said the Lord is pure, uncontaminated, and he also has the quality of being antiseptic, Prabhupada says. The Lord is antiseptic. In other words, wherever he touches, it becomes pure. And plus, he is also aparapavidham, which means that he is immune. He cannot be contaminated. Immune means you cannot catch the disease. You have been vaccinated. Then you cannot catch the disease. You are immune. So you can go anywhere. So the sun is like that. And the sun, of course, represents the Lord. That the Lord is pure, uncontaminated, is purifying, is immune. And one more thing, the Lord has the power to bestow purity, and not only this, but also immunity on those that it touches. And not only this, Prabhupada uses another word. He says the Lord is prophylactic. Well, that's a complicated word. You have to look in the dictionary. But basically, it means that the Lord can bestow his own quality upon another. So the Lord is pure, uncontaminated, immune. He can purify, he's purifying. And when he touches someone, that person obtains the same qualities. So the saintly people who are in constant remembrance of the Lord, who are in constant touch with the Lord, they have the same qualities as he has. And when they bathe in the holy rivers, they purify the rivers. So this is the reason which is given here. The great saintly people, they go to holy places of pilgrimage in order to purify them. For that reason, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is visiting many tirthas and delivering many, many conditioned souls. So how is delivering the conditioned souls? One is back, keeping the tirthas completely potent, powerful, so that whoever comes there will be purified and liberated. And as we know, as he was singing, chanting Hare Krishna the whole way, whoever would see Mahaprabhu, what would happen to them? They will start chanting. And which Naam they will chant? Hare Krishna, very good. There are 3 types of Nama. There is Aparada Nama, then there is the Namabhas, and there is the Shuddha Nam. So those who saw Mahaprabhu, which Nam they got? Shuddha Nam. When you chant Shuddha Nam, what happens? Huh? You get Krishna Prema. Very good. So the people who saw Mahaprabhu with their own eyes, they heard his singing, they got Shuddhanama. They started chanting Shuddhanama, and they trembled and rolled on the ground. They became mad in prema, ecstasy. So they were liberated. And they ran back to their village. And whoever they met, whoever saw them, they got the same. They got Shuddha Nama, they got Prema. And these people, Mahaprabhu, they also got Prema. And they ran further away to their own village. And whoever saw them, they also got Prema. So in this way, when Mahaprabhu was passing along the road, not only he delivered the people on the roadside, but he delivered many kilometers square of lands and villages, because all those who saw him got prema, and they gave it to others, who gave it to others, who gave it to others. So the huge areas were becoming purified, and people were becoming liberated. So that was Mahaprabhu's purpose of visiting the what is called Dravid Desh, right? Now he is quoting a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, very famous. It's in the first canto, 13th chapter. This verse was spoken by Maharaj Yudhishthira to Vidura. It's a praise of the pure devotees. Bhavadvidha bhagavatas tirthi bhuta swayam vibho tirthi kurvanti tirthani svantaste nagadabrita. Sense of your caliber. Yudhishthira is talking to Vidura. Sense of your caliber are themselves Krishna Krishna. It's the fan. Sands of your caliber are themselves places of pilgrimage. Because of their purity, they are constant companions of the Lord, and therefore they can purify even the places of pilgrimage. So the secret is be in touch with the Lord. By being in touch with the Lord, one remains pure. And not only this, one can purify others. This is the miracle and the secret of the Guru Parampara. Lord Brahma is in touch with the Lord. and in disciplic succession. This comes down. The guru purifies the disciple becomes empowered to purify his own disciple, and like this, it continues through ages. So here, the great devotees, they are themselves, it says, they are themselves places of pilgrimage. They are tirthas. What is a tirtha? Thank you very much. Why is it a place of pilgrimage? Why do people go there? What is a tirtha? Yes, it is a place which is connected to the Lord. Either it is connected to the Lord, either he appeared there, or he left from there, or he went there, he passed through there. He is associated with that place. So it is associated with the Lord or with a great devotee of the Lord, which is the same. So a place of pilgrimage is a place which is associated with the Lord. That's why it is pure. And so the great devotees, they are compared to a tirtha because they are in touch with the Lord. Like the place of pilgrimage is associated with the Lord, therefore it is pure. The devotee is associated with the Lord, therefore he is pure, therefore he is a tirtha. Nice? Yes. वैष्णवेराय एक स्वभाव निश्चला तहो जीवन है ना स्वतंत्र ईश्वरा. A Vaishnav travels to places of pilgrimage to purify them and to reclaim fallen conditioned souls. This is one of the duties of a Vaishnava. Actually, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not a living entity. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Consequently, he is a fully independent controller. Yet in his position as a devotee, he carries the activities of a devotee. So this is usually this purifying of the holy places is done by the great devotees. Mahaprabhu is not exactly a great devotee in the sense that he is not a human being. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but we know him as Channa avatar. You know that word? Channa? Channa means not Channa like Kanika. Channa means avarit. It means hidden, covered. He is a hidden avatar. He comes, he doesn't play as the Lord, he plays as the devotee. So in his role as a devotee, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is taking up that duty of the great saints to travel and to purify the holy places. Srila Prabhupada wrote a purport. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur points out that because there are many permanent residents in holy places, who do not precisely follow the rules and regulations governing living in a sacred place, exalted devotees have to go to these places to reclaim such persons. This is the business of a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is unhappy to see others materially enmeshed. This we know in Sanskrit is called paradukadukhi. To feel pain seeing the distress of others. The materialistic people, when they see someone suffering, how do they feel? Well done. He deserves it. Huh? They think like this, they do like that. No? Oh, Krishna, my back is in trouble. I don't know how to sit really. We'll try something else. Okay. So So the Vaishnava is unhappy to see others materially enmeshed. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught these activities of a Vaishnava, although he is the worshipable deity of all Vaishnavas, the complete and independent Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukta, complete, completely uncontaminated, and eternally liberated. He is Sanatana, for he has no beginning or end. So he is playing the role of a devotee, but we should not forget that he is the Lord himself. And additionally, Srila Prabhupada says in this purport that there are also sinners in the holy places, not just in the regular places, but in the holy places also. There are people who don't follow properly. So the saintly persons, they go there to also enlighten those persons. Raja kahe tare tumi ete kene dile, paya pani yatna kari kene na rakhile. Upon hearing this, the king replied, "Why did you allow him to leave? Why didn't you fall at his lotus feet and keep him here?" So he's saying that out of separation, and he's saying that out of concern that traveling is so dangerous. And nowadays we are used to our sannyasis with silk robes, carrying in a danda with the silk cover. They arrive by plane, by car. They have comfortable shoes, big saman. But in those days, sannyasis' life was not like that. We have to adopt, adjust, and adapt ourselves to various times. But 500 years ago, when Mahaprabhu was roaming as a sannyasi, life was dangerous. There was no plane. There was no car. How were they traveling, the sannyasis? By walk. There was no road everywhere, no highway. Many times no road. So sometimes they would walk on the road, and then there was a stretch without road. There was forest. There was forest. And who was in the forest? Wild animals. Tiger, cheetah, lions, wild elephants, wild boar, snakes. You want more? So you have to walk through the jungle, and sometimes swamps. You can sink into the sand, moving sands, swamps, meat-eating ants, this kind of insects. So many of them, they can attack and eat up the whole body. Very dangerous. Many kilometers without water. What kind of food is there in the forest? Because the forest, sometimes they would span several hundred kilometers. Understand? Several hundred kilometers through the forest. What food is in the forest? Fruit, wild fruit, yes. I was just now in Udupi. We had forest, wild forest, natural mango trees. Believe me, it was not the same. Kattha, chota, there is a big, big bone inside, and just 1 millimeter of pulp and a thick skin around it. So yes, some wild fruit, wild berries, mushroom. Yeah, of course, there are mushrooms. Some people might eat them, not the sannyasis. And then, so, but many times there are not even fruit. So then what's left? Leaves, the leaves of the tree. Just like the deer is eating the leaves of the tree. So the sannyasis also like Dhruva Maharaj. They eat the leaves of the tree. Or they dig a little bit in the ground and they find some root, mula. And so they chew on the mula. Little sweet. It's not carrots, it's wild roots. And sometimes no proper drinking water for days. And the heat of the sun, and the cold, and the rain, sometimes mountains, sometimes you have to cross a river. There is no bridge. How will you cross the river? You swim. Yeah. Good. No, there is no boat. There is no boat. You can swim across. One time I was walking from Jagannath Puri to Konarak. You know Konarak, the temple of the sun, very famous temple of the sun. So I decided that instead of taking the bus, I'm going to walk along the beach because Jagannath Puri is on the beach and Konarak is on the beach. So if I follow the beach, logically, I should find the temple of the sun. So I left in the morning. It was summertime. So I walked and walked and walked and walked and walked and walked and walked until the sand became so hot that I couldn't walk anymore. Fortunately, there was a little forest. So I went to sleep under the trees in the shadow. These trees, luckily, they were cashew trees. Yeah, well, if you have seen a cashew tree, watch out. If you touch it, it's like there's some poison on the cashew nuts. It's very, you cannot, but at least there's a fruit that is attached. So you can pluck the fruit and get something to drink, right? So I waited until the sun goes down, 4 o'clock, 4:30, and then I continued to walk. And then at some point, you know what? There was a river. I didn't plan that. It wasn't on my map. There was a river going into the sea. And I was like, yeah, how will I cross? You know? So first thing is observe. So I watch. I look at the river. It was quite wide. I look this way. I look that way. And at some point, I spot somebody. Oh, there is somebody who is wading across the river. You know, wading means he's walking across the river. And the water is only up to like middle legs, you know. I said, oh, there is a place where it's not so deep. Let me find where he came in, where he went inside. So I went up, 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 and I found the footprints in the mud. I found the footprint of that person's entering the water. So I thought, well, you know, I can't go back anyway. Might as well go forward. So I entered the water, and surely there was some kind of path inside, some elevated path inside the water. Probably the people have built, I don't know how it was, but so I started walking, one foot, next foot, then you put the foot, you feel, it's going this way, that way, because of course it wasn't straight. So you had to figure whether it's going left, right. So like this, I was crossing the water, and when I arrived like right in the middle, suddenly all my body started going down. And suddenly I had water up to here. Anyway, so fortunately, I managed to cross. So this would be the life of Mahaprabhu. This is what the king is thinking. My Lord has taken up such a difficult path. How could you let him go? His body so soft, so delicate. How could you let him go? To walk across the jungle, you know. So Sarvabhauma replied, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Lord and he's completely independent, meaning who can stop him? Nobody can stop him. He is not dependent on anyone. Even if I tried, can't convince him. Once he makes up his mind to do something, no one can interfere. तथापि राखिते तारे बहुयत्न कैलोन ईश्वरे स्वतंत्र इच्छा राखिते नारिलोन. Still, I endeavored very hard to keep him here, but because he is the Supreme Lord and completely independent, I was not successful. Raja kahe bhatta tumi vigyasi romani tumitaye Krishna kaha tate satyamani. The king said, Bhattacharya, you are the most learned and experienced person I know. Therefore, when you address Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Lord Krishna, I accept this as the truth. So now this king is revealing his faith, right? He has faith in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has faith in the devotees. So Bhattacharya here is describing Mahaprabhu as the Lord. And the king is taking this in. He is accepting this truth. He believes. He is a Shraddhavan. That's what it means, is Shraddhavan. Purport. This is the way to advance in spiritual science. So please be awake. What is the way to advance in spiritual science? One must accept the words of an acharya, a bona fide spiritual master, to clear the path for spiritual advancement. This is the secret of success. What is the secret of success? You accept the words of an acharya. When you come to meet one, now they will explain who is an acharya, but you have to accept their words. Many times Prabhupada made this point that you are always accepting someone's words. In the modern world, we accept the words of the scientists. We believe any damn thing they say. Isn't it true? Yeah, we believe in so many theories, and Prabhupada said it's theory. What is a theory? It is a maybe. They have somehow speculated that looking for the truth. Vaigyanik. They are looking for Gyan. They are looking for the truth. But the way they look from the truth, they look for the truth through pratyaksha and anuman, which means they observe with the telescope. Therefore, the universe must have had a start. The speculation. The Shastra said the Lord manifested this universe. We know there was a start because we accept the words of the Acharya. The scientist is not sure. He said there must have been a start. There must have been. So it is a theory. Prabhupada said a bunch of maybes. But the whole world accepts those theories until 10 years later, sometimes 2 years later, the theory is defeated by some further anuman or some further pratyaksha. We have observed, oh, we found something new. We have observed something new. And because of that, what we speculated before doesn't work anymore. And then all the public goes, great. So Prabhupada explained that you always accept the words of an authority. The authority can be Paurusha or Apaurusha. Paurusha means it is a mundane authority, which depends on the perception of the senses and the speculations of the mind. Apaurusha, it means that it is an authority that takes its knowledge from beyond the mind and beyond the senses, an authority that is connected with the absolute, with the personality of Godhead ultimately. He is the supreme, aparushaya, shabda. So the secret of success is when you meet a bona fide spiritual master, you accept his words, like Prataparudra. You say he's the Lord. I accept it. However, one's guide must be a spiritual master who is actually an unalloyed devotee, strictly following the instructions of the previous acharya without deviation. Whatever the spiritual master says must be accepted by the disciple. Only then is success certain. This is the Vedic system. So the spiritual master comes in disciplic succession. He has learned the truth from his own guru, who has learned the truth from his own guru. So we accept such an authority. This is the Vedic system. So sometimes people ask, how can I learn? How can I learn? There's only one way to learn, is you sit in front of someone who knows. That's all. But nowadays we don't understand these things. So we think that we will learn simply by reading. We will learn to a great extent, of course, because Prabhupada's purports are spoken by him, written by him. So in one sense, it's like sitting in front of him and learning from him. But Srila Prabhupada advocated the Guru Parampara, that you learn from a living link, one who links you to the Guru Parampara. You learn from a living link. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was a Brahmana and a realized soul, whereas Prataparudra was a Kshatriya. Kshatriya kings used to obey very faithfully the orders of learned Brahmanas and saintly persons, and in this way they would rule their country. Similarly, Vaishyas used to follow the king's orders, and Shudras used to serve the three higher castes. In this way, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras used to live cooperatively, performing their respective duties. Consequently, society was peaceful, and people were able to discharge the duties of Krishna consciousness. Thus, they were happy in this life and able to return home back to Godhead. So Prabhupada is explaining here the Vedic society. Chaturvarnyam maya shrishtam. Bhagavad Gita says, Krishna explains that I have created these orders. Mm. There are the spiritual orders and there are the material orders, the social orders. And they are perfectly designed. Oh, what a nice chair. I'm very sorry, devotees. My back has been aching since yesterday. So, what do you know? Even I don't know what will be comfortable. Would you give me a minute to change chair? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare
Give me some water.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Haribol. Anybody remembers what we were talking about? Lord Krishna himself, he created, not only spoke about, he created the varnas and the ashramas. He created them to organize human society. Hmm? These varnas, particularly, they are based on the modes of material nature. Hmm? There are three modes of material nature, which are sattva, rajas, tamas. Hmm? So, out of the three, two pull us down and one pushes us up. Hmm? So the tamas and rajas, when we comment that these are influences, influences of the material nature. What happens at 10 o'clock at night? The eyes close automatically. It's difficult to stay awake. This is the influence of material nature. What does it do? It covers the consciousness. It covers, it makes it dull. You know, the first time I came to India, I was quite amazed. I saw the mothers, the ladies with the small baby. They would sit cross-legged with the baby and they would just shake their head and bang the head of the baby. And nevertheless, he would fall asleep. I thought, wow. So when the influence of tamas comes in the evening, the consciousness becomes dull. In other words, the consciousness actually reduces, it diminishes, like a lamp, when the light is going to go off, it decreases, 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 and poof, it goes off. So off means you go into the sleeping mode. So these are influences. So this mode in the Bhagavad Gita of tamas, Krishna explains that the mode of ignorance, it gives indolence, sleep. One becomes inactive, lazy. One also becomes depressed. You go into a negative type of tone and inactive. Oh, yeah. You know, sometimes you all day like, ah, which mode is that? Tamaguna. That if you have studied the Bhagavad Gita, you may catch yourself. If you haven't studied it, all no, day long you will be wah, wah. But if you have studied the Bhagavad Gita, you will say, Tamaguna, leave me alone. And then there is Rajas. Oh, all the bulbs become on. Let me explore the world. One becomes hyperactive. Hyperactive. The eyes become reddish. Wow, hyperactive. Let's do this, let's do that. You move fast. Whereas in Tamas, you move slow. In Rajas, you move super fast. And then there is, and as we know, the Rajas is characterized by Ichha, the desires. The desires on the subtle platform. What is creating all that movement? It is Kama. The desires, material desires, the desire to enjoy. And then there is Sattva. Shanti. Very peaceful. Looks sometimes a little slow, like Tamas, but it is not Tamas. Like when you chant japa in the morning, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. You become very concentrated sometimes. You become very, very concentrated. You close your eyes and you follow the sound. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. But at some point, you have to watch. Because when you slow down the mind, then there are two paths. One is tamas and one is sattva. When you slow down, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So for many people, they take the left side. Then they go like, Hare. Silence. Means the tamas has taken over. And if you take the path of sattva, oh, then so many things happen. So these three influences are there. Sattvam sanjayate jnanam. From the mode of goodness emerges knowledge, clear vision, discrimination. So the bodies that we have as human beings, they are made up of the modes. Like everything in this world is made up of sattva, rajas, tamas. It is said it's like a braid. You know, when you have long hair, you make a braid. The ladies, they make a braid with 3 strands. Sattva, it is said by wearing a braid, you are controlling the modes of nature. You know that, girls? Yeah, you better wear a braid. It helps control the modes of nature. Otherwise, the hair is one of the main, it says the human beings keep their vanity in their hair, their pride. They use it for all sorts of purposes. When you braid, you control the modes of nature, become a yogini. Very nice, isn't it? When it's explained like that, you want to wear a braid. So the bodies, they are woven with these 3 modes of material nature. When the sattva is totally predominant in the body due to the previous karmas of the jiva, which karmas? very nice, pious karmas. When the sattva is fully predominant and there's hardly any tamas and rajas, something will always be there, but hardly, then the body is a brahmana. It is a brahminical body. And the person is full of brahminical qualities. He is tolerant, he is patient, he is knowledgeable. When the body is woven with maximum rajas, very less tamas, and a little sattva, it is a kshatriya. Very powerful kshatriya with enough sattva to hear. Hear what? Good advice from the brahmanas who have knowledge. And then when to these rajas is added too much more tamas, when there is rajas and tamas together mixed with very less sattva, then you have the body of a Vaishya. And when unfortunately the dose of tamas becomes predominant, then you have the body of a Shudra. So, and according to these bodies, Krishna designed activities, duties, the different orders of life. The Brahmanas teach, they worship. The Kshatriyas, under the guidance of the Brahmins, they organize the society, they protect the prajas, they organize the economy, the infrastructure. The Vaishyas, under the supervision of the Kshatriyas, they provide the food, very most important. Nowadays, we prefer to buy a computer than to buy food. We prefer to go to the supermarket rather than work the field. The problem is when lockdown comes, finish. Neither you can eat the computer, nor you can go to the supermarket, and you have no land, so you starve. So this arrangement of Krishna is very perfect to sustain human beings at all times. And the idea is that living peacefully, engaging themselves according to their qualities, they can keep some time to think of Krishna. And they should understand that all their activities should be dedicated to the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So this is explained here. Why is he talking of that? Because we are looking at the contrast between the king and the sannyasi who is a brahmana. Punarapi hantara haile agamana ekabara dekhi kari saphala nayana. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returns, says the king, I wish to see him just once in order to make my eyes perfect. Bhattacharya kahe tenu asibe alpakale rahite tare ekasthana chahiye virale. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, His Holiness, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, will return. When? Very soon. I wish to have a nice place ready for him, a place solitary and peaceful. You know, when he comes back, he will be staying at Sarvabhauma's house. So now he is thinking that I want to prepare to receive him. Thakurera nikata ara ibe nirjane emata nirnayakari deha ekastane. Lord Chaitanya's residence should be very secluded and also near the temple of Jagannath. Please consider this proposal and give me a nice place for him. Raja kahe eiche kashi misrera bhavana Thakurera nikata haya parama nirjana. The king replied, Kashi Mishra's house is exactly what you require. It is near the temple and is very secluded, calm and quiet. Eta kahira jara hai utkantita hanya bhattacharya Kashi Mishra kahira ajasiya. After saying this, the king became very anxious for the Lord to return. Sarvabhattacharya then went to Kashi Mishra to convey the king's desire. Kashi Mishra kahe ami bada bhagyavan more grihe Prabhupadera habevavasthan. When Kashi Mishra heard the proposal, he said, I am very fortunate that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord of all Prabhus, will stay at my home. So what is the meaning of Mahaprabhu here? The Lord of all Prabhus. Is the greatest Prabhu and he is the Lord of all Prabhus. Prabhupada gave the name. What is the word which is used exactly here? Prabhupadera in Bengali, which means it's like the possessive of, and so it is Prabhupada actually. It's Prabhupada. Prabhupada explains that. What means Prabhupada? Is one at whose feet all the Prabhus sit. So in the purport, he talks about that. In this verse, the word Prabhupada, referring to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is significant. Regarding this, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada comments, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, Sri Krishna, and all his servants address him as Prabhupada. This means that there are many Prabhus taking shelter under his lotus feet. The pure Vaishnava is addressed as Prabhu. And this address is an etiquette observed between Vaishnavas. When many Prabhus remain under the shelter of the lotus feet of another Prabhu, the address Prabhupada is given. Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Advaita Prabhu are also addressed as Prabhupada. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Advaita Prabhu, and Sri Nityananda Prabhu are all Vishnu Tattva. In other words, they are all the Supreme Lords. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are Lord Vishnu. Therefore, all living entities are under their lotus feet. Lord Vishnu is the eternal Lord of everyone, and the representative of Lord Vishnu is the Lord's confidential servant. Such representative of Lord Vishnu is the Lord's confidential servant. Such a person acts as the spiritual master for neophyte Vaishnavas. Therefore, the spiritual master is as respectable as Sri Krishna Chaitanya or Lord Vishnu himself. For this reason, the spiritual master is addressed as Om Vishnupad or Prabhupada. The Acharya, the spiritual master, is generally respected by others as Shripad, and the initiated Vaishnavas are addressed as Prabhu. Prabhu, Prabhupada, and Vishnupad are described in revealed scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Chaitanya Bhagavat. In this regard, these scriptures present evidence accepted by unalloyed devotees. We'd like to make a note here of how these words, Prabhupada, it's a title, an expression of respect. There are many words. Prabhupada says Prabhupada, in that sense, is one who sits at the feet of the Lord, who is Prabhu, Mahaprabhu. So there is Prabhupada, there is Vishnupad, one who sits, who is in touch with Vishnu. There is Shripad, who is in touch also with the Lord or with the internal potency of the Lord. So these are all titles with which we address the person. And the word Prabhu, Prabhupada says, this is how the Vaishnavas, they address each other as Prabhu. So I wanted to make a little note because in ISKCON, we have become very casual with the word Prabhu. First of all, we add Z, Prabhuji, Prabhuji, Z. It's not Prabhuji, it's Prabhu. Prabhu itself is a respectful term. Ji, especially in North India, Ji signifies respect. Ha, Ji. So you don't have to have Prabhu plus Ji. Plus Prabhupada says that Ji is a low class. It's low class. Prabhupada says it's low class. It's not a very refined way to respect somebody. But it is done. It's very common. Everybody is a G in North India. But when they called him Swami Ji, he corrected them and he established Prabhupada, not Prabhupada Ji. So I just want to make this note that this is ways of speaking which have cropped up after Srila Prabhupada's departure and which are not exactly correct. Prabhupada is enough. If you want to respect him more, you say Srila Prabhupada. But Prabhupada Ji is not really what you would like to hear. Similarly, Prabhu Ji. Prabhu itself is a respectful term. So we don't really have to use Ji. It's Prabhu. But Prabhupada explains that when you say Prabhu, you cannot follow it by Prabhu. Can you bring my shoes? Prabhu, can you do this for me? When we say Prabhu, it means you are my master. Therefore, who am I? Your servant. So you can say, Prabhu, how can I help you? Not Prabhu, think how you can help me. Understand what I mean? Prabhupada gave us this way of calling each other because to situate us in this Jivera Swarup, hey, we are a Krishna Das, we are a servant. So when we say Prabhu, it's like when you say Namaste. When you say Namaste, you fold your hands. I'm yours. I'm your servant. That's what it means. I am your servant. I take that position. Please order me. So when you say Prabhu, it is the same. It means I am your servant. It's to remind us that we are servants. So we should know these things and practice that I am your servant. Therefore I call you Prabhu. And I avoid to ask you to bring my shoes. So we should, and similarly, I don't think it's too correct to say, I saw two Prabhus over there. What have you made with that word? Prabhu is an address. Hey Prabhu, Prabhu, or so-and-so, Krishna Prabhu, Damodar Prabhu. It's a respectful way. But what do you mean by saying, I saw two Prabhus over there, 5 Prabhus over here, and there is one Prabhu here? What have you made of that word? Huh? It's a man. Yeah. So you have twisted the meaning. A Prabhu is a master, you know, but we have turned it that Prabhu means a man. Right? So, just for your information, just reflect upon the meaning of this Prabhu. Huh? That when it should be used as a respectful term, and especially it should be used for me to remind myself that I am a servant. Huh? You can say two devotees, you can say two men, you can say, but when you say two Prabhus, you kind of bring down this very wonderful, both cultural and very philosophical, spiritual word. You transform it into a thing, the name of a thing. So it is not correct. Hmm. And then this degenerates. The wife says, "This is my Prabhu." And the husband says, "This is my Mataji." Whereas Prabhupada says the husband should see all women as Mataji except his wife. But he will say, "This is my Mataji." Haribol, Haribol. Cultural rectification. This is for your thoughts, because it's a little annoying for those who have joined ISKCON early and you were taught that you are a servant of others, therefore you call them Prabhu. Hmm? Yes.
But is when we have non-initiated devotees, or in other sense, to be more precise, somebody who is in the beginning stages of being committed to the process of bhakti, if I were to just put it that way, not saying anything like 16 rounds or anything. When we address them, today it has become common to call everybody as Prabhuji, whereas in the purport it is talked about initiated, or let me even loosely call it as committed devotees. When initiation happens is a different question altogether for them. So is it appropriate to call them as bhaktas and bhaktins, or the word Prabhu is universal? Like say somebody is just begun to chant one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, something like that.
Yeah, so you have to go according to their understanding and the, how much they have reached in their understanding of this jargon and all that. So if they know why people are call them Prabhu, then you can call them Prabhu. Another point to make is that when Prabhupada instituted ISKCON, all the new people who don't have an initiated name, their name is considered material. Mr. John, or even Kumar, or whatever name you have, Devi Kiran, so many names, Devi Prasad. There are so many names, and this is the material name that has been given to the person. So what Prabhupada told us is that when there is a new person and they become regular, you add Bhakta, Bhakta Kumar, Bhakta Pradeep, Bhakta Kiran. So he said that by doing this, you spiritualize, you spiritualize their, not just their name, but their personality. It's not just, Kumar Saab. It's not Kumar Saab. It is Bhakta Kumar. He has become a Bhakta. So to indicate their adherence to the process, we call them Bhakta. And for the ladies, he gave Bhaktin, the Bhakta and Bhaktin. This culture was current until maybe the 1990s, but now it seems to have gone, completely gone. I'm not sure whether we should really abandon what Prabhupada has given us. Because that way, what it means is that the person becomes integrated in the Bhakta's family. He is a Bhakta. Bhakta John, Bhakti Mary, you know. These are names which are not even connected to the Vedic culture. But just by becoming, they are a Bhakta, they are recognized as a devotee. If you want to add Prabhu to further respect them, it's fine. It's fine. But the most important for them is not the Prabhu, it is the Bhakta. Before becoming a master, they should become a Bhakta. This Prabhu is, now I'll make you laugh a little bit more. You are going to the market, the most famous market in the world. It's called Loy Bazaar in Vrindavan. You are on the street, you're trying to catch a rickshaw. Prabhu, 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 rickshaw, Prabhu, rickshaw, Prabhu. And now you are calling the rickshaw Prabhu. You go to the shop, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Now this is the shopkeeper who's making millions on the back of all the bhaktas who come to buy paraphernalia, who is worshipping Devi, and you call him Prabhu? Hmm? You go to the doctor, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sometimes it even comes out of your mouth when you are in the plane and you see the steward coming. You say, Prabhu. So please understand, Prabhu is used for devotees. It means master. So understand the contradiction. You are calling the rickshaw and you call him master. It is not fully correct. Huh? So it should not become like just a habit. It becomes a habit. You just call everybody Prabhu, 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 Prabhu. You got it wrong. If you could reform, that would be great. Yes.
What I've seen is in married life, when the wife calls the husband Prabhu, it means the husband has done a mistake.
More jokes. Or maybe she wants something. So let us. We have to change and find something else. Yes. Okay, so let's read ahead. Was this note useful? Very useful. You see, due to the lack of education in our congregations, in our society in general, so many things are getting lost that Prabhupada gave us. Should we stop? I'll just finish the purport. Okay. Therefore, all living entities are under the lotus feet of the Lords. Lord Vishnu is the eternal Lord of everyone. And the representative of Lord Vishnu is the Lord's confidential servant, the devotee, the elevated devotee. Such a person acts as the spiritual master for neophyte Vaishnavas. Therefore, the spiritual master is as respectable as Sri Krishna Chaitanya or Lord Vishnu himself. For this reason, the spiritual master is addressed as Om Vishnupad or Prabhupada. Young devotees, we have only 3 minutes to go. Can you control yourself? Just breathe. The Acharya, the spiritual master, is generally respected by others as Shripad. And the initiated Vaishnavas are addressed as Prabhu. Prabhu, Prabhupada, and Vishnupad are described in revealed scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Chaitanya Bhagavat. In this regard, these scriptures present evidence accepted by unalloyed devotees. The Prakrita Sahajyas are not even worthy of being called Vaishnavas. They think that only caste Goswamis should be called Prabhupada. Such ignorant Sahajiyas call themselves Vaishnav Das Anudas, which means the servant of the Vaishnavas. However, they are opposed to addressing a pure Vaishnava as Prabhupada. In other words, they are envious of a bona fide spiritual master who is addressed as Prabhupada, and they commit offenses by considering a bona fide spiritual master an ordinary human being or a member of a certain caste. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur describes such sahajiyas as most unfortunate. Because of their misconceptions, they fall into hellish condition. So this title of Prabhupada, Sripad, it is according to the qualification of the person. It is not based on the birth. It's not based on the birth. Prabhupada gave another example. In Kolkata, tomorrow I'm going to Kolkata. He said in Kolkata, it's a place which is already going towards Eastern Asia. So they have what they call thelawalas. You know what is a thelawala? Is a man who pulls carts. Just in the North India, they have rickshaw pullers, cycle rickshaw. In Kolkata, the man actually run and pull the rickshaw carrying people. And there are market areas where the men are carrying the goods. They're coolies, right? And they are pulling carts loaded, so much loaded. Few of them are pushing at the back, and then one of them is pulling at the front. Now, we have nothing against the Thelawalas, but tell me, in terms of the modes of nature which we explained in the beginning, which Varna do they belong? Shudra, yes. They are physical, manual workers. There's nothing wrong about them, but they are manual workers, okay? So they are considered Shudra. Most of them eat bhang. They are half intoxicated in order to be able to do that work, which is very hard work. But we are happy when we go to Calcutta and we have a lot of luggage, we need one of them. So they are full-fledged members of the society. They are helpful, right? And then Prabhupada says that there is one telawala like this, he is going and he's sweating and he's pulling the cart and he is wearing a Brahmin thread. Why is he wearing a upavita? Why? He was born in a Brahmana family. Yeah. So by caste, he got this thread from his father. So as he walks on the road pulling the cart, some people, they offer him respect. They touch his feet. So there Prabhupada says, wrong. By caste, by birth, he may be Brahmana, but he has given up the qualities of a Brahmana. He has accepted the qualities of a Shudra. He is to be accepted as a Shudra. So, similarly, if somebody may be born in a family of a Shudra, but he has purified himself by the process of Pancharatriki, by the process of Krishna Bhakti, and he has attained the Sattva body, the Sattvic mind, and he's fully connected with the Supreme Lord, he can no longer be seen as a Shudra. He deserves to be called Prabhu. So we should be very careful that you don't go by the external sights but you have to understand the consciousness of the people. And you address them according to their consciousness. And you respect them according to their consciousness. So this is important to understand because the whole movement of Lord Chaitanya is based on this, that we are not this body and our qualification is not by birth. So here, we are done. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, devotees. It was very, very delightful to spend time with Chaitanya Charitamrita, with King Prataparudra and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and all of you. Thank you very much for inviting me, Hema Sundari.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Yeah, Mataji. Very absorbing session today we had, Mataji. Thank you so much for your kind association. One quick question, Mataji. So now this is a trend of online classes, right? So there are many people who connect online, ladies and gents both. And some of them we know, some of them we don't know personally. So how do we address them? Like the ladies, should I say like Mataji or just name and G? Let's say someone's name is Kalpana. So you say Kalpana Mataji or Kalpana Ji. How should I? She may be chanting, she may not be chanting. So what is the right way?
Yeah.
Especially in the online classes, Mataji.
Yes. As far as Prabhupada's instructions, first of all, it depends how much the person is integrated into the ways of Krishna consciousness. Like, because this word Mataji, Mata, like this, it is culturally, Vedically speaking, it is the right way for a man to address a woman. It's the right way. And we can explain why. It is the right way to address. But you also have to be sensitive to the cultural environment. Sometimes you meet some, modern person, you're distributing books or you go to a shop or something and you say, Hare Krishna Mataji. And she goes like, am I so old? Because culturally they have this impression that you call someone Mataji when it's your mother or when it's an old woman. So they feel offended. So you have to be little, sensitive to who is in front of you. But otherwise, basic education, when we come to Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada said that all the men would do well to address the ladies as mother. You can address as mother, Mataji. In that case, the G was given, so we are not against it. Mata. Mata is also okay. It means mother. And these are the words that Prabhupada mostly used. He didn't use ayi. Sometimes you go some ISKCON temple, you say ayi. It's like, well, it's okay, but that's not what Prabhupada gave us. So you see the context, but not Kalpanaji. That's not, that's not what Prabhupada taught us, But there should be a little education side by side so that people come to know why you call them Mataji. And that it's called Vaishnav Sadachar, how to address each other. And for men, Prabhupada says it's good because otherwise how you will address them. It is actually in the good society, it is kind of not very polite to address someone by their name. Usually you add something else. And between men and women, as we know, the relationship between men and women is the most complicated relationship in the world, right? And it is an entangling relationship. It can become an entangling relationship. So usually men and women are not advised to address each other by their name. straight. Hmm? Even between husband and wife, they don't address themselves by their name. Hmm? Prabhupada was saying the wife calls her husband something like Prabhu, Swami, or something gentle, and the husband calls her Devi, something, But especially when you don't know the person, or you know them a little bit, when you address someone by their name, it builds a more intimate relationship. So that's what Prabhupada wants to cut. Because the modern world does not use these kind of respectful terms to address each other, right? And what is the result of this? The whole world is completely, it is drowning in the ocean of illicit activities. This is the characteristic of the modern world, right? That everywhere people are entangled from the age of 10, 12 till 82, like Ajamil. they are unable to pull away from the attraction of the opposite sex. So when you come to spiritual life, the first thing is that you have to control the senses, and you have to somehow stay away from the they say illusion created by the material energy. Now I will explain something more, is that the way that men and women become attracted to each other, or the way the combination works on the level of illusion, is that the man identifies as Purusha. Yes? Aham Purusha. Right? It is, and that means it's the male energy. And Purusha originally is Krishna, Adi Purusha. What is Adi Purusha? Purusha means controller, enjoyer, owner, proprietor. That is the Purusha, right? And those souls, jivas, who are in male bodies, they identify as Purusha in bhava, in their mood. They identify, they have a Purusha bhava, which means I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, I am the proprietor. This is their mood. I'm the leader. This is the mood. Whereas the female, those jivas who are in a female body, they identify as prakriti, naturally. Although in this age of Kali, the qualities are mixed. That is called, what do they call it? Varna Sankara. Don't know my Varna. I don't even know my gender. That's the problem in this age. You don't know who you are. That is the confusions of Kali Yuga. So, but normally in the proper psychology, the man will identify as Purusha, the ladies will identify as Prakriti. What is Prakriti? Prakriti means Radharani. She is the Adi Shakti. It means energy. Whereas the Purusha is independent, the Prakriti is dependent. Radharani is Krishna's energy. She follows him. All the energies of Krishna, they obey him. They serve him. Right? So the ladies in this world, they are made after Radharani, and they have this mood of dependence. Sometimes they are described as a lata. The Purusha is a taru, is a vriksha, is a tree. And the female is a lata. It's a creeper. You know creeper, like the beautiful creepers, flower creepers. If they don't find a pole or a tree to climb, they vegetate on the ground. They don't grow. They need a support to grow. When they have a support, they will grow so much. So in general, the Prakriti female psychology is more like flourishes more when she can depend on the Purusha. And she has the tendency to follow. She has the tendency to serve. which is actually a nature which is closer to the spiritual nature. She has the nature to serve by nature. Ladies always serve. She has the nature to care, to serve, to nourish, to feed, to follow, to obey, to adjust. It is there. So when you when you call the lady Kanchana or Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, I call her Kanchana. Kanchana immediately will have the tendency to say, yes, Prabhu. And you become very pleased. Immediately your Purusha Bhav is like, oh, this one listens very well. I think she could be my wife. She hears me. She listens. Understand? Men enjoy the following of women. But they enjoy when the women are submissive to them, they are lower to them. Therefore, always the wife should be younger, less this, less that, so that the combination will work. He will be able to lead and she won't mind following. If she is more intelligent, problem. Because every time you make a mistake, she'll catch you. And then the combination is disturbed. She will not follow because the following is natural but not automatic. It is natural but not automatic. You have to prove. Like the Kshatriyas, they kidnap the wives. Why? Because the Kshatrinis, they, in order to respect their husband, they have to see that he's got the power. Otherwise, they won't respect. This is all Prabhupada's books. Explain. Now, Kanchana Mataji. Now, who is Mataji? Who is mother? What kind of figure is mother in the mind? Love, yes, but what is mother? Nourisher, protector, something more. Huh? Yes, but for you, who is mother? She is? No, not helpless. Mother is not helpless. Selfless, yes. But what is she for you, the mother? First teacher. Mother for a child is boss. She is authority, isn't she? You have to listen to mother. Understand? When you think of mother, mother is above you or below you? She is above. Kanchana Mataji, you are looking up. When you look up, all your hopes for enjoyment are finished. When you call her Kanchana Mataji, it completely cuts the bhava, that mood of controlling, enjoying. It is cut. If you understand what means Mataji, it's mother. It means you are looking at an authority figure. You are placing that person above you, like you did your mother. You can hear still in your mind. I'm sure everybody can hear in their mind. Sometimes they are about to do something. Oh, mother told me not to do that. You can hear this even if you're 50 years old. You hear your mother. Because when you were a child, she is your authority. So this calling of the woman mother by the man, it is meant to cut the lust. That if you think of women as a woman, you want to enjoy. If you think of her as a mother, you respect. It is meant to bring the respect. And you place her above you. If she is above, you can't, that thought of enjoyment cannot come in the mind. So it is so scientific, that all men, Prabhupada said, should address women as mother. And then one time, one man asked Prabhupada, so Prabhupada, all men should address women as Mataji, mother. So we should see women as Mataji. So how should the women see us? Same thing. When the woman looks up at the man, she goes, wow, he's so strong, so powerful, so intelligent. Immediately she feels attracted. I can take shelter. So Prabhupada said, Beta. How do you see man in Krishna consciousness? Beta. What means beta? So again, it brings about vatsalya. It cuts the lust. All men are sons. All women are mothers. All men are sons. This is to establish a wonderful society free from lust. You may not call them beta, they will really be upset. But you should consider them beta. Beta. So the beta, keep him under control. The beta, beto. Right. These are Prabhupada's teaching. So don't call her Kanchana Ji. You call her Kanchana Mataji. Then a different relationship is built around that, address, which is very favorable for Krishna consciousness, free from trouble.
Yellow shirt who's sitting on the sofa. He's Murari Madhav Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
And towards the extreme left, there is Suranatha Giridhara Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Each of them are great devotee leaders who are taking care of anywhere between 500 to 1,000 devotees. And as you have heard from Mataji, she is, and as you all know, she's very instrumental in creating courses for newcomers. So both of them address a huge Kannada audience, those whose native language is Kannada. So Mataji is coming up with, she already is has created the courses called Bhakti Sadachar. And it's the Bhakti Pravesh, entrance into Bhakti, even before getting into Bhakti Shastri courses. And then there's one more new course which you're planning, which is Bhakti Sheelanam. Recently, Mataji is going to start in VAHE, the equivalent of these courses in Telugu. So if any of your members are interested, you can speak to Mataji and you can connect them here. I can vouchsafe that many devotees here who have attended those classes, they felt that they are getting something very structured in one place, which would probably take them many years. They knew everything bits and pieces here and there, but how to stitch it together is something that they got it. And there are some things which they said they couldn't even know in general. So we are thankful to you, Mataji, for providing this as an elixir for all of us. It is said that a great soul lives for the sake of others. You have dedicated yourself for others and you're extending yourself to us. We have done nothing for you and still you're giving it to us. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Hari Hari, I would encourage all the devotees to educate themselves in Krishna consciousness in order to integrate ourselves within the material world, to get a job, to run a business, or to be successful in some ways in the world. We study from the age of 5 till the age of 25 or more. So if we wish to integrate ourselves within the spiritual atmosphere, within the spiritual society, if we wish to understand how to practice bhakti, similarly, education would do us very well. So you are most welcome to join this spiritual education, systematic education, which was started by Srila Prabhupada, who established 4 different degrees, and he himself conducted the first examinations in Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhauma. These are 4 levels of study of his books. At the VIHE, we have added preliminary and intermediary courses to link these degrees with each other. Bhakti Shastri is not a study for newcomers. Prabhupada said it is meant to train brahmanas. It means devotees who have been in Krishna consciousness for some time, who have already gotten preferably first initiation, and who now would like to, qualify themselves further. So therefore we created Bhakti Pravesh, which is for newcomers, Bhakti Sadachar, which is for practitioners, Bhakti Sharanam, which is for those who are ready to dedicate their life as a disciple, who want to become a disciple. There are too many devotees, people in our society who come to Krishna consciousness, get initiated, and disappear and never return, right? There are many failures. So we must prepare ourselves, we must educate ourselves to understand the commitments of initiation, the characteristics of a disciple. So in this way, we need to study and take the association of advanced devotees. So advanced devotees, there are a few in our communities, always there are. But when you take up a systematic course, you come in touch with many more senior devotees that you would otherwise have never met. So it is very beneficial for us to do that. And similarly, after Bhakti Shastri, devotees are not really ready to undertake the studies of Bhakti Vaibhav, which Srila Prabhupada said is an examination which will be compulsory for sannyasis. So we understand that after Bhakti Shastri, we need to cultivate ourselves more and more and more in order to be able to practice this anga of bhakti, which is called Bhagavad Shravan, and it is named as Aswadanam, which means we must taste the Bhagavatam. So if we study the Bhagavatam when we are not ready, there will be study, but no Aswadanam. So therefore we created Bhakti Shilanam, the cultivation of the devotional spirit, which will take the devotees a few steps further after their Bhakti Shastri. So please, if you are interested in cultivating your Krishna consciousness at different levels, you may contact our institute. We are here to serve you. Hare Krishna.
Obeisance to Mataji Vancha Kalpatarubhyas.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Let's all chant one time for Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Mataji.
And don't like